It's been some time since I last did an update on my tank. So, this particular video, I wanted to go through quick changes that I made and how much it really costs to set up a reef tank. So, some of the changes that I've made, I've added a wave maker. This is the Ice Cap 3K Gyre. This thing is not bad, but from what I see, I definitely need to get another one. That way I have one on each side, because one, even though it's running on full power, it's still not getting the movement that I would like throughout the tank. There's been some additions with corals, sea urchin, some fish, so the tank is coming along pretty nicely. I did have one loss with a Monty, but I think it's a little bit too early for me to start with those. Anywho, getting into the cost of the tank. So this is a Red Sea Reefer 450, and there's different options that you can go with, but for the money, I think this is probably the best thing you could get. Reason why I went with this, it's a good size tank, 92-gallon display, 26-gallon sump, which covers everything that you need. It's really well built, and I don't think you get a better tank for the money. So the tank was 2,200. Then you're gonna need a skimmer. That's about 400. You have pump that would circulate the water throughout the tank. That's about $100. ATO. Now with ATO, you have a few options. You can either keep the stock one that comes with the tank, but it's only 3.8 gallons, or you could just add an additional one, which I did. It was an ice cap as well. So far, I have 3 of their products, and they're working pretty well. So the ATO cost me $125. You would need about $460 worth of rock. So give or take anywhere between 80 and 100 pounds of rock. I would probably say 100 is a little more, so more than you'd want for aquascaping purposes, but 80 pounds is a good amount. Next piece is lights. The ones that I went with are Hydra 26s HD Prime, and they're a little pricey lights. There are some Chinese versions you could get that are a lot cheaper, but not a really big fan of Chinese knockoffs. The thing with this hobby, what I learned is cheap is expensive. I've had these lights for about coming up on 6 months. One of them broke. The stopped connecting to Wi-Fi. I called AI. They replaced it right away. Very easy, very simple. No headache. So I'm glad I went with these lights, even though they are a little bit finicky. Next piece is mounts. So the mounts, those are the gooseneck things that the lights are attached to. Again, you have a choice. You go with the various different options. You hang them from the ceiling, up to you, but whatever. They're about $60 a mount. Power strips, timers. Now, power strips, you could get cheap ones, but I really would not recommend that. You have a lot of devices hooked up to these things. You want to make sure that there's at least some kind of a surge protection on there. Timers, something that I would recommend if you want to go with timers is Eco Plugs. Well, they have them in Walmart. They're like $20. What's cool about them is you can program them on your phone. There's an app, and they connect to Wi-Fi. And it's kind of like having a controller without having a controller. So like a budget controller. Essentially, you plug it into the outlet. You connect to Wi-Fi. You download the app. There's a bunch of timers you can set up from your phone. You can control the device from your phone. It's a good piece. For $20, definitely worth it. Test kits. Now, with test kits, you could go cheap, mid-grade, or expensive. I recommend the Henna checkers. About $50 a pop. But they're a lot easier to deal with. They're a lot more accurate, and it's just a lot more convenient. Overall, the price difference in a regular test kit and a henna checker is probably maybe $20. Go with the henna checker. About $100 worth of miscellaneous, probably pumps, wires, tubes. Sorry about that. Give or take, the setup would cost a good reef tank setup would run about $5,000. That's the cost. Then there's some additional stuff that you may want to get at a later point in time. An RODI unit, that's be about $250. Water storage containers where you're going to store the RODI water. You're going to need one for fresh water, one for salt water. It's about $100. You're gonna need a pump uh, to start to mix the water, or to mix the salt water. You're gonna need a reactor. Put GFO in there to keep your phosphates low, and that's about it. That pretty much covers everything that you would need to get with a fish tank. I did not mention a heater nor a chiller. Reason for that is depends really where you live. In some places, a heater would be useful. In some places, a chiller. If you live in a hot climate, obviously you would use a chiller. Um, but generally, for the most part, uh, if you live in a colder climate and you heat your house, you could get away without a heater. I put one in there just in case, as a precaution, but my tank usually does not go below 70 to 6 degrees in the winter, and usually it's about 78 in the summer. That's about it. If you have any questions, please add some comments. I'll have more videos later on.